Welcome back to the South Jersey Football Frenzy show, South Jersey football fans. My name is Kevin Emmons, filling in for Mark Tribble, founder of South Jersey Sports Zone and editor-in-chief for D2SportsNetwork.com. I'm joined by the usual suspect, Coach Mack. Looking like maybe we're all here for a golf podcast, but we're talking football today.
Listen, we look good. That's the only thing. That's what you want to do. You want to first look good, feel good, play good, right, Rod? Rod, I noticed I come into the studio, no big computer, no whole this song and dance, no like Max, sit down, get ready. It's a little more cash today, huh?
Yeah, it was a little different coming in, you know?
Right.
Hey, the backup quarterback's got to come in laser focused. That's all it is.
Trib might refer to you as super substitute teacher, so he wants to make sure me and Rod behave. No film strips today. We got to make sure we're on point. So, as South Jersey knows, Kevin's done a great job covering a ton of sports. So, hey, Rod, I might. This might make me tied for with Trib doing the show the most times.
Yeah.
Because I think I've missed only one.
You missed one. That was my introduction.
Yeah, right.
And now he missed one.
We're
This is Kev's introduction.
I got a ways to go.
You got the most, Rod.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah.
No, you guys were doing it a little bit before I jumped in. So
In our studio.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Well, we got a lot to talk about today. Going to recap week 2. A lot of good football coming this week. A lot of good loaded matchups. So why don't we just get into it? I think that's.
Here we go. Nobody wants to talk about the Eagles, Kev. So
that's true.
High school football is our only saving grace right now.
I agree. I'm sure many viewers right now would not be happy. There might be a few who are.
We'll get
maybe some Giants fans in the area, maybe some Cowboys fans. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm sure we drip up to North Jersey a little bit, but I'm sure we'll digress like we usually do to some Eagles talk. But I don't want to get in your way. I know we got a lot to cover.
Lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Well, first off, this show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, the West Jersey Football Coaches Association. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 3 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has also dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $80,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the show, and also a quick shout out to our friend Dave O'Sullivan, the founder of South Jersey Glory Days. Sully's the reason we have a platform for all of you to watch. Visit his new look site, sjglorydays.com, for all local high school sports coverage. So jumping right in here, the game of the week. Mark was at last week, obviously, St. Augustine and Cherokee in Marlton. Good game. The Hermits come away with a 21-7 win. I mean, these are two teams that obviously have been the cream of the crop in South Jersey for the past couple of years. When you're playing in the West Jersey Football League American Division, there isn't any days off. No weeks off.
No, we've gone over some schedules, and and that one's good. That was a battle of the Titans, so to speak. The size of the lines on those two teams. I didn't see that game. It feels like Augie controlled it a little more on the line of scrimmage. Exactly what Lancetta likes to do. So, look, Cherokee. They're going to be tough this year. Obviously, Augie's good. So is Cherokee, but. That fist fight was won early by Augie, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and these were two teams I know you guys talked about on the show last week, how both coaches pride themselves on defense. We kind of knew it was going to be two teams that like to run the ball, two teams that are traditionally big up front.
Yep.
And that's what it was. I mean, it was 21-0 at one point. Cherokee got a late score, a blocked punt, ended up being a 5-yard touchdown. And the Hermits did what they like to do. I mean, they ran for 176 yards behind a big offensive line. I mean, Damari Simeon's racking up Division I offers. Cameron Green, we just seen yesterday, got his 4th offer from East Carolina. And they limited the Chiefs to, Camfield had less than 100 yards. I mean, that's not usual for him. Usually he's running all over. They were able to contain him, and that was able to help them get to a victory.
I said last week I thought there was going to be plays between the 40s a little bit, kicking game, turnovers, etc. I didn't think that Augie was going to have 21 points. I thought it was going to be a little lower scoring than that, but heck, Augie's good, and and Augie's got a good defense too. We always, we're talking about their line, offensive line, but their D plays tough. Obviously, holding Campfield to under 100. You got a first-year quarterback at Cherokee, so getting his feet under him a little bit. Athletic as heck, the Birdie kid, but there's athletes on both sides of the ball there at that game. So not what Glatzy wanted, but hey, some of those early season wake-up calls are, if you're going to, nobody likes to lose, but losing early in the season, you can kind of regroup and hopefully figure things out for the upcoming weeks for the Chiefs.
Absolutely. And you mentioned a good part talking about how good the Hermit's defense is, because it's a team last year that only allowed 10 points per game on average. Playing the schedule that they're playing, having to go play in the non-public A playoffs when that time of the year comes, and they brought a lot of guys back from that defense. And, they're always bringing guys in. So that's, as you said, that's what they pride themselves on.
And look, and it's not just their athletes on the field, the way they're coached. I mean, sorry, Coach Lancetta. I played for Coach Lancetta, and in high school, he was our defensive coordinator when I was at Bishop Eustace under Clyde Folsom, and he knows his stuff on defense, right? He is sound and solid from his days at Hamilton, from playing at St. Joe Hamilton, coaching at Hamilton, and doing what he does there. He is a defensive-minded coach, and when he builds his teams getting ready to play for November, December football, and that's in Augie, that's what they're looking to do, right? They're they like winning they like picking up these South Jersey wins, but they're playing to get that big prize in November, December, and people who know that's playing defense and running the ball.
And the hat man, Mark, presented the hat to running back Julian Turney, which, anyone who knows South Jersey football knows it's a pretty good running back.
Yes, he is.
146 yards and a touchdown.
Against the Cherokee defense, by the way, right? He's not pulling up 146 on, and also ran. That's 146 on Cherokee. Not many squads or kids typically do that against the Cherokee front, who's also well coached year in and year out. So, like I said, Cherokee got to lick their wounds, get done, get ready. They got to go again this week, and that's the same for Augie. And Augie just keeps kind of, I don't want to say, keep on a little bit of a roll, and both coaches will, be better for it. Because I know P.D. Lancetta is not going to let his guys get too excited about a big win, even though it was at Cherokee. And, and Glatzy's going to regroup the troops. So both good coaches.
Absolutely. And as you said, both teams are going to have big road tests, which we'll get into later in the show.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no weeks off, no days off in the American division.
No, they're just collecting PowerPoints. Hopefully you collect wins on the way, too.
Oh, absolutely. So that pretty much wraps it up for our game of the week from last week. We're going to head into commercial break, come back. When we come back, we'll talk about a couple scores, a lot of scores from last week. We'll recap last week, have some stuff lined up after that. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show's presenting sponsor is the West Jersey Football Coaches Association. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. And in less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and dedicated itself to helping others. They've donated close to $80,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley. I've had nothing but the best to say about Mike Foti in the time I've had the chance to be around him and his crew. SRA is a gold accredited member of the Better Business Bureau, under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up Best of South Jersey awards throughout their past. They contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by the NJFOA South Officials Association. Are you passionate about football? Don't wait. Become a part of the NJFOA South Officials Association and join them to help officiate high school football games. With a diverse community of more than 250 members, they proudly oversee every high school football game in South Jersey, setting the standard for officiating in the state. By joining the chapter, you will become part of a team that upholds the highest standards in the game. They are more than just officials. They're advocates for sportsmanship, integrity, and guardians of player safety, champions of fair play. They offer the proper training to ensure you're ready to make the calls and uphold the values. Ready to put on the stripes and join the team? Visit www.njfoasouth.org and hit Join Us to register now. That's www.njfoa-south.org and hit Join Us to register now. Elevate your love for the game and become a football official with NJFOA South.
And welcome back to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Kevin Emmons, joined here by Coach Mack, Roderick Self, behind the scenes making all the magic happen. We're going to jump right into our second segment here.
Triple making comments already.
Already
In the comment section, right? I mean, folks see that. I don't even know where Triv is. Triv's floating around, takes a week off. Now he's making comments. What's he now, executive producing, Rod? Hope you're having fun, Triv. Sorry, Kev.
Well, we're having some fun here. We wish you could be here with us, but the show must go on.
Do we? Okay.
We got some big shoes to fill, big hat, as I should say, but we're going to get right into it. So we're going to recap some scores from last week. A lot of games to go over Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a lot of action. We'll jump right in. Last Thursday, Bishop Eustis 36, Lindenwold 2. Eustis 3-0. Makai Simmons ran 15 times for 125 yards and 3 touchdowns. Roman Fayola and Noah Glenn both added a rushing touchdown. Bishop Eustis 3-0.
Yeah, someone was maybe chiming in. I don't know when the last time they started out 3-0, but good for them. Coach Roccabaldo, first-year coach there. I mean, obviously, long-time Eustis guy, athlete, multi-sport, doing well. So, you know, it's good to see. It's good, Eustis. Good for Eustis to be 3-0. Someone might chime in when the last time they put 3 in the beginning. That's good stuff for them.
Absolutely. One of them programs where South Jersey football is better when they're doing good.
Absolutely.
Moving on, and I'm happy I get to recap this score right here, give a little shout out to my guy. Being coincidental that I was able to fill in this week. Pemberton defeating Burlington City 14-8. Ryan Lambert with a rushing touchdown. Yuhan Linares with the game-winning scoop and score. And this is the Hornets' first win since October 8, 2022, and Coach Gerald Davis's first win at the helm. Want to give a shout out to my guy, Coach Gerald. I mean, this is a guy who's done a lot for the Pemberton program. Ran the youth program for many years, became defensive coordinator. Obviously, in his second year now, he gets his first win. This is a guy who played at William & Mary with Sean McDermott, Mike Tomlin, Darren Sharper, 1993 William & Mary team. So it's a lot of big names right there.
Oh, yeah. A lot of big names and a lot of guys who know a lot of football. So it's good to have him around the kids coaching in South Jersey. It's always good to have our guys come back.
Absolutely. And as I said, I mean, their first win in almost 2 years. So congratulations to the Hornets. And it's a good feeling to be able to enjoy that win for a couple days, and it's right back to work. Moving on, the Anchor Bowl, another South Jersey rivalry that's, lived for many decades between Middle Township and Lower Cape May, two of the most southernmost programs in South Jersey. Middle Township gets away with a 14-0 win. All South Jersey running back Remy Rodriguez ran 23 times for 228 yards, 2 touchdowns. Middle Township gets back in the win column after a loss to Triton the week before. Moving on to our Friday games. We start off with Riverside, who defeated Maple Shade 22-0. The Rams are 3-0. I know it's been a little while since they were 3-0. I read something. Tom McGurk did a great piece today previewing the games this week. Riverside's going for their first 4-0 start in a long time. I can't remember what the year was off the top of my head. Maybe someone in the comments would know. It's been a long time, but they're in prime position to do that this week. So
maybe like 2002 or 3, maybe?
Possibly.
I'm just throwing it out there. 2001, 2, around that?
Maybe someone in the comments could help us out with that, can let us know. A little Riverside, New Jersey history lesson.
The home of the Boost, Rod. God, sorry.
Moving on, we got Northern Burlington and Moorestown. The Greyhounds win 22-14. Christian Hall, 13 carries for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brent Walulak, a pick 6 in the win, which seems to have been pivotal considering they won by a touchdown. I don't know when that happened in the game, but obviously it helped towards the outcome. Northern Burlington, 2 wins in a row for them. Ocean City moving to 3-0 with a 21-14 win over Lenape. Quarterback Walker Bailey was 7 for 10 passing for 98 yards and a touchdown, and he also ran for 2 scores. Moving forward, Kip Cooper Norcross Academy, if I'm saying that correctly. Kip Norcross Cooper.
Sounds right. That sounds about right.
With a 26-12 win over Buna, Zylene Brooks with 9 carries for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. Neo Echeverra, 13 carries, 76 yards and a touchdown. So the Titans did a good job running the ball in their latest victory. Absegami, 37, St. Joe's Hamilton 3. Kendall Armstrong, quarterback, went 11 for 16 for 264 yards and 4 touchdowns. Pedro Reyes caught 2 touchdowns. And first-year coach Lamont Robinson, who played at Oklahoma, that was his first win at Absegami. So congratulations,
Awesome.
Coach Robinson, and congratulations to the Braves.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a big win. I don't think the Braves have beaten St. Joe Hamilton too many times. So anytime, I know there's been some changes down there, but anytime you beat St. Joe's, it's got to feel good for that squad because for other years it was the other way. So good for them.
Absolutely. Eastern was a 20-3 winner over Vineland last week. Logan Dawson, a Boston College baseball commit, 7 for 15 passing for 113 yards and a touchdown. Jaden Kersey with 10 carries for 51 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kingsway defeated Timber Creek 16-7. David Orovets threw a passing touchdown. Coldy Nick ran for a touchdown, and J.D. Johnson caught a touchdown in a 16-7 win for the Dragons. A good win as they will be facing Delsea this week. Those are the kind of wins that, help get you motivated for that upcoming game against the, another perennial power in South Jersey who's had a lot of success.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, we know they're a little bit with the coaching changes too there. I mean, but Delsea they'll be back, they'll rebound. I mean, a lot of schools, when you've had the same, not only Sal was not only there as the head coach, but just ingrained in that program. So Delsea will be back, but it's good for squads to get wins over perennial blue blood squads.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Good point, Coach. Moving on, Rancocas Valley with a massive win, 42-6 over Camden Eastside. Savian Adams, 9 for 13 for 196 yards and 4 touchdowns. Brody Dieter with 6 receptions for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Montre Wilson, a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. I believe he had a special teams touchdown in there. I went to school with Montre's older brother. He was a really good basketball player, and I'm pretty sure he said something on Facebook about his brother having a special teams touchdown or something. So I don't know, maybe not, but a good game for him either way. 2 touchdowns and a 42-6 win over Eastside. I'm sure he was happy with that.
Sure, no doubt.
Moving forward, Holy Cross, a 21-7 winner over Palmyra. Will Updike, 10 for 19 passing for 226 yards and 3 touchdowns. Anthony D'Ambrosia, 4 receptions, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Manny Doku, tremendous basketball player who played in our all-star basketball game this past spring. 4 receptions for 90 yards and a touchdown, so safe to say he gets it done on the football field as well. Oak Crest, a 44-6 winner over Cumberland. Andrew Estrada, 11 for 16, 214 yards and 3 touchdowns. Donovan Lithicum, 6 carries, 129 yards and a touchdown. And Jaleel Williams ran for 2 touchdowns and also had a pick 6. So a big game there for Williams. And now a Burlington County rivalry, Route 130 rivalry, 2 teams that, it's safe to say, don't like each other.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. Delran and Cinnaminson, almost in walking distance, but no one's walking down Route 130. Delran comes out with a 24-21 win over Cinnaminson with a field goal, 37-yard field goal by Shane Polena with less than a minute left. The Bears' first win against their rivals since 2020-2021. Chris Baker did a great story on that. Chris has the answer for that. I forget which year it was. But Vinny Saka ran 18 times for 119 yards and 3 touchdowns in the win. And for Cinnaminson, coming up short, Dom Del Grippo was a standout with 3 rushing touchdowns, scored all the Pirates' touchdowns, so a good performance from him. I'm sure, he would like to be on the winning side of that as much as his teammates would, but 3 touchdowns, you can't be mad at that.
No, and it's interesting that some of these matchups early in the season, it's kind of they're some of the former Thanksgiving games, some of the late season matchups, seeing them week 3. It's always, anytime Delran and Cinnaminson get together in any sport, no love lost. So it's always a battle. It's always a 1-score, not always, but typically a 1-score game. So, getting on the good side of that for Delran, it's good for them. So
absolutely, and the Bears still undefeated right now.
Yep.
Moving forward, we have Lawrence and Florence. Lawrence defeated the Flashes 17-14. Bryce Ojakari, 9 for 16, 114 yards and 2 touchdown passes in the setback. Atlantic City with one of the biggest wins of the weekend, 42-0 over rival Cedar Creek. Peaky Roseboro was 12 for 15 for 241 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. He also ran 7 times for 136 yards and 3 touchdowns, so 6 touchdowns on the day for him. Sinai, the Grafenright Ice Cup, as they call him, the Rutgers commit, had a receiving touchdown in the win. Huge win for the Vikings, another team that's been battle-tested early on, having to play Mainland and Millville. They finally get in the win column with a big win over the Pirates there.
Oh yeah, they're making some waves. That's for sure. They're getting closer to top 11. You know, they're right there on the cusp. I haven't looked at it yet. We don't want to sneak peek stuff, but AC's putting together an early good season at 3-0.
Absolutely, and another team that's, you know, they're not in the American division, but in a tough division where there's no weeks off. They got Ocean City this week, so it's the kind of win that kind of helps you set the tone going into that next week. Moving forward, Audubon with a narrow 8-7 win over Bordentown. Brayson McCracken, 9 for 19 passing for 102 yards and a rushing touchdown. Jorge Ortiz had an interception on defense in the 8-7 win for the Green Wave. Washington Township, another undefeated team with a huge 28-6 win over Delsea. Cole Aquino, 11 for 15 passing for 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. Colin Beeler, a guy who's stepped up to the plate in that tailback position, has done a fantastic job for the Minutemen so far this year. 15 carries, 80 yards and a touchdown. And Deshaun Long, one of the best true athletes in South Jersey, 5 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. The Minutemen with a huge win over Delsea, defending Group 3 state champion. Moving forward, Camden, a 44-3 winner over Shawnee. Makai Brunson, 15 for 28, 185 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Jaden Steele carried the ball 15 times for 146 yards and a touchdown. And Ibn Muhammad had 2 receiving touchdowns. Coach Mack, you were at this game. I mean, what did you see from Camden?
I saw a very good Camden High team put it on Shawnee. It was a clinic, offense and defense at both sides of the ball. Just Coach Hinson and his crew do a really nice job. You know, Shawnee, you know, right out of the gate, you know, Brunson was smooth in the pocket. I was telling Rod earlier, he hit a couple dig routes right in the middle of the defense. You know, where in front of the safeties, behind the backers. It's, you know, and he's not the tallest guy, right? Rod, what's he, 6? Not even, right?
Not even. I don't think he's 6. Probably about 5'8"-ish, 5'9"-ish.
All right, I'm not gonna say. You know, look, I'll call him 6. I mean, but he's not 6'5", is my point, and he can still. He did a nice job. So, you know, Shawnee struggled a little bit on offense, and you know, look, they're going to have to figure stuff out quick because they got RV coming up, and you know, look, Camden High, good football team, right? But you know, you're Shawnee, you got to figure some stuff out for the next couple weeks because you know you play a tough schedule as well. Camden High is going to want to keep it rolling. Not many turnovers on both sides. I mean, Camden High just had some really nice sustained drives. The bigger plays came on some of the run plays for Camden High. Shout out on the side, Camden High's band, as always, put on an unbelievable show from the game started at 6. The show started from 5:30 and it didn't end until the buses pulled out of the parking lot. So, a note too, Shawnee's doing its halftime show. Camden High's band comes over to the side, comes on the Shawnee side, watching the Shawnee band with the Shawnee student body fans. I mean, if you don't think that high school football unites schools and puts so many good kids and so many good communities together, mm-hmm. I mean, it was such a cool thing to have the Camden High band hooping it up with the students at Shawnee while watching the Shawnee band. I mean, we always see bands come over and watch each other, mm-hmm. but the band of Camden High was having a good time with the Shawnee crowd, and yeah, it's always good to see, man. It's a great environment when you get high school football like that.
It's the Marching Panthers.
Oh my God, I might ask them to play my daughter's wedding next year. And I don't know but I don't know if we can fit all.
They could get in there.
All 70. I mean, and there was more horns in that band than I mean, it was like Southern. It was like watching Southerns.
Yeah, right.
And it was.
Let me give a shout out to Jamal Dickerson. He's the band director over at Camden High School. So. They do a phenomenal job with their performing arts programs over there.
Yeah, they do. And the uniforms, I mean, we're going to digress on band. I love the old school, like the wrap over leather and the long, it's like, with the spats, and it's like, it's legit. And, I mean, the price of admission if you're just going to watch the band, but hey, the team's pretty darn good too. So it's and can't forget the cheerleaders. We've said this all along, and for all the schools, right? Early in the season, we usually touch on this type of thing, like how great the communities are to come together in schools with the student bodies, and not just the Camden Highs and the Shawnees, which I got a chance to see, but you go to a lot of different venues in South Jersey. You see the band, you see the cheerleaders. Obviously the football teams are on the field, but just so many people involved in a high school football game and bringing everybody together. It's really cool. Friday nights, South Jersey, weather's great. If your kid's not at a team or you're not having rooting interest, get to a game. Get to a game.
Yeah.
Spend a couple bucks and go to your local high school football game. You'll have a good time. It doesn't matter whose side you're on. It's fun.
Absolutely, and obviously a huge win for the Panthers, 44-3 win. Brunson's a quarterback I've seen over the years develop when he was at Eastside and went to Camden. This is an experienced offense that brings back a lot of guys from the team that won a sectional championship last year and fell short in that state semifinal. So looks kind of like they're kind of playing with a chip on their shoulder. They're ready to roll. They've been rolling on, as I said, on all cylinders early in the year. So a huge win for them going forward, and they have another big one this week, which we will talk about later in the show. Moving forward, another heavyweight matchup. Millville with a 40-7 win over Mainland. They were down, I believe, 7-6 at halftime and just went off the wall, 34 unanswered points in the second half. Robbie O'Connor was 15 for 25, 302 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the guy we just happen to talk about every week, Lazier Brooks, 8 receptions, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and a scoop and score touchdown. I mean, it's pretty obvious why the kid's going to Alabama.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's obvious that he's going Division I football. Then you take it to Bama, that's a whole other level. He just does some things. The one catch he made in the end zone over top, I mean, he's a combination of Captain America and Spider-Man, that dude. So he does a lot of good things well.
He made it to ESPN as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely, number 2 on the SportsCenter top 10 plays.
That might not be his first time making it, by the way. I think he's been kid's a senior in high school. He's been on ESPN a couple times. So, Millville continues to be Millville, and look, I give them credit, right? They're the ones with the target on their back. They're the ones that teams want to come out week in and week out and take a shot at, and they're like, hey, give us your best. We love it, and we're going to compete, and that's what goes down. Millville's they're not afraid of anybody, and they look like they show up every week ready to go. So good for them.
Absolutely, and as you guys said, SportsCenter top 10. It was also on You Got Mossed on Monday night, waiting for the Eagles game to start. That was on there. Toms River North play was on there as well. Toms River North, obviously a short conference team, but if you want to talk latitude and longitude, they're kind of South Jersey. So seeing South Jersey dominate, South Central Jersey dominate an ESPN segment, pretty cool thing to see.
Sure.
But the win, obviously, for the Thunderbolts, a huge win, and it also ended Mainland's win streak, which was at 14-0 last year. First South Jersey team to ever do that since they added state championships for public schools. 2 wins this season. I believe their last loss before that was also to Millville the year before, state semifinals. So Millville coming in and spoiling the party. Both teams, of course, playing in that American division, we'll talk about later in the show because both teams have big matchups again coming up this week.
Every week those teams are up into a fist fight. So by playoffs, these guys are battle tested, and it's a rough schedule. Hopefully they're all healthy going in, but it's a tough schedule.
Absolutely. Moving forward, we have Seneca, a 21-6 winner over Pleasantville. Quarterback Anthony Tirico, 9 for 16 for 75 yards and a touchdown. He also carried the ball 12 times for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns, scoring all the touchdowns there for the Golden Eagles in a big win over Pleasantville, 21-6. Woodstown with a dominant 26-0 win over their Salem County rival Shalleck, which could potentially be a Group 1 playoff matchup down the road. Quarterback Jack Holliday, 8 for 13 for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bryce Belafonte, the all-South Jersey running back, 17 carries, 85 yards and a touchdown. He also caught a touchdown in the win, 26-0 for the Wolverines. Paul VI back in the win column after a setback to St. Augustine with a massive 38-0 win over Gloucester. Quarterback Dalton Felines, 13 for 19, 115 yards and a touchdown. Nate Klecko, 10 carries for 85 yards and a touchdown. Tyree Roan, 4 receptions for 53 yards and a touchdown at wide receiver, and 2 pick sixes. Not 1, but 2 pick sixes. Gateway, a 42-20 winner over Wildwood. Aiden Barbado, 20 carries for 143 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dylan Cruette, 2 interceptions and a forced fumble. DJ Bink and Jacob Finger, 1 interception each, as the Gators earn a win with a 42-20 decision over Wildwood. Winslow, another team with state championship aspirations this year, with a massive 42-0 win over Williamstown. Two teams not separated by many miles, just a short drive there down, 536. I know the road's got different names in certain parts of it, depending on what town you're in, but two teams really close to each other.
Oh, yeah.
Two rivals that, have had some battles, I'm sure, over the years, dating back to way back when. Jalen Parker, quarterback for the Eagles, 7 for 14, 151 yards, a touchdown and a rushing touchdown. Roman Duckett, 14 carries for 104 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. And Cam Miller, the Wisconsin commit, 3 receptions for 84 yards and a touchdown as the Eagles move to 3-0 with another shutout. West Deptford with a 46-6 win over Colonial Conference foe Collingswood. Zamir Davis was one of the standout performers in all of South Jersey last week. 7 carries for 76 yards and 3 touchdowns, a kick return touchdown. Cole Paskiewicz, I believe is how you say it, 8 carries for 96 yards and a touchdown, and Dominic Doe with a kick return touchdown. So 2 kick return touchdowns for the Eagles and a 46-6 win over Collingswood.
Big win for West Deptford there, as you said, back to, those crosstown rivalries, right? You got Winslow playing Williamstown early in the season. You got, the old Colonial Conference matchup. So, again, it's overused, but there is no love lost for a lot of these schools and, their battles. I know Williamstown's kind of in a rebuild, I'll say, with Coach back, so Coach Fuse back. So, but Winslow's a tough, good football team and well coached. So, they're going to be strong as the season gets going for sure.
Absolutely, and that's 2 shutouts for them in 3 weeks, and another team with a big matchup coming up this week that we will dive into later in the show.
Right.
Moving forward, Holy Spirit, team that lost at the Battle at the Beach to Millville, was shut out, and they respond with 2 straight shutouts with a 41-0 win over Hamilton. Ty Costabile, 7 for 13, 199 yards and 3 touchdowns at quarterback. Jasir Pops Ward, 10 carries, 43 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Emmanuel Gorena, Donovan Catholic transfer, 5 receptions for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Spartans moved to 2-1 with their second straight shutout over a Cape Atlantic League foe. Willingboro with a 34-24 win over Haddonfield, 2 teams that have had a lot of success in Group 2 over the past couple years. Sean Taylor was 7 for 15 for 169 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Kai Cottle ran 23 times for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Terrence Knighton, an all-South Jersey receiver, 3 receptions, 128 yards and a touchdown. Haddonfield kept it within striking distance. Their quarterback, Van Lefakis, 19 for 32, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. The Chimeras, however they pronounce it. I'm not an expert on spelling there.
I think it's Chimeras. I think it's a silent H, right? Chimeras. I think we're a silent H there, Coach. But, I digress. I'm not your wordsmith like Triv is. So he'll probably correct me on the column in the comments section. Keep it to yourself, Triv.
Yeah, I might be getting some pronunciation corrections too, so we're all good. But Willingboro 3-0 under first-year coach Kenny Scott. I mean, this is a program, as I said, that's had a lot of success in the past. I mean, guys that are in the NFL.
Right, first-year coach, but not first-year coach, right?
Absolutely.
First year at Willingboro, but we all know what he did at Winslow and the success he had. And
absolutely.
So he's done a great job when he's coaching, and he was you kind of knew after the move, the musical chairs a little bit, right? And he'd pick it up there and do a great job. So and as he's doing, so that's a big win beating the Bulldogs because they're Frank Delano and staff they do a great job as well. So early season successes for Willingboro, big stuff. That's great to see.
Absolutely, and like you said, to be able to go in on the road and beat a quality, well coached opponent like that.
Oh yeah,
and obviously
tough place to play. We talked about it last week. The way that's set up, beautiful environment. The stadium's. It's been refurbished, but it's 100 years old. It's been there a long time. One side of the bleachers, and it gets packed, and it's when you're a visiting team on the other side of the, it can be a little bit intimidating, but you got to show up, you got to play, just like everywhere else.
Absolutely. And our last Friday score, to recap, we have a couple more, but our last one with statistics, we have Bridgeton, a 32-29 winner over Egg Harbor Township. Dante Howell, 10 for 13 passing for 137 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jeremiah Russell caught 3 of those passes for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Bulldogs, 3-0 for the first time since 2013. A few other scores from Friday. Cherry Hill East, 31, Trey and 7. That was a game I was at. The Cherry Hill East Cougars hosting their first home night game in school history. And it was everything that high school football is about. I walk up, they got the fire department there. The fire truck's got an American flag draped down, hanging from the ladder. Student section is packed. The band is doing a tremendous job. The cheerleaders are lined up. The players take the field. They had the school mascot out there, Crimson the Cougar, and they pulled away for a 31-7 win. This was a game that was tied at halftime, 7-7. Isaiah Donaldson had 3 touchdowns. He had caught 2 passes. Both went for touchdowns. They added up to 130 yards. And East is 3-0 for the first time in 13 years, I believe.
Oh, at least look, we should have our data. We didn't know when Eustis was 3-0 for the first time in a while. We didn't know when, but now East first time in 13 years, big win, as you said. Lights on the field. I was remiss. I knew they had that field. That field was put back there, I think, in 2008, 9. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's always been there, but now it was, not 10, 11 maybe, because we played on it my first year when I was at Lenape, so I know it's been there, but I didn't know they hadn't had lights on it yet.
I was surprised myself, too.
Something tells me there was an ordinance in Cherry Hill. Somebody didn't want lights banging in their backyard back there, but you know what? Somebody else said, we're going lights.
Right. It's a really nice stadium, turf field.
Yes.
Lights. Now they have the new bleachers there as well. So.
Oh yeah, and and it's something nice playing. I mean, look, Cherry Hill East and West shared that field forever.
Yeah.
Forever. East had to go over across town and play in West home stadium, and then West got the turf there and lights and a lot of it's funny when you throw it's like a fresh coat of paint, right? You get some turf and going back to Camden High, coach. Their band's going for the game, and I said to someone, "Man, if we were at Farnham Park, the band would have started at the school. And walked its way in."
That's right.
And that's a sight worth seeing. I grew up I grew up watching those games, so I won't get into South Jersey South Jersey North Conference.
Yeah, teams have their own field back then.
Absolutely.
Bishop Eustace used to play.
Oh, we played Camden Catholic on that field. We played Paul VI on the field.
Yep.
I mean, that was Camden Catholic's home field on Sundays. Our home field was Pennsauken High. Paul VI. Their field was put in place, I think, in not 84, 85. People say, man, that's forever ago. But a lot of these places shared fields, right?
They shared fields, yeah.
And Farnham didn't have turf.
No.
And no gates. It seemed like everybody there's you're playing in a little bit of a.
They had something special there at Farnham Park.
Yeah, it was a tough place to win.
I'm not going to say what it was there that was on the field. I want to see if someone in the comments kind of know what I'm alluding to. But it was a very special place when we had grass. It was some visitors that would always be there, and we would get tackled. And
I was on that field enough myself. I came out. I remember coaching in a game there when I was at Holy Cross, and I think we beat Camden High 14-12 or something. It was just squeaker, and you coach at Holy Cross, people are used to air cross, and I came there and was kind of running the ball a little more than they were used to, and parents were like a little grumbling that we didn't that we didn't put it on Camden High. At Camden High, I said, if anybody ever played it's hard to put it on Camden High at Camden High. I don't care what year they're having. I don't care what team you got.
Tough.
That's a tough place to play, going into that place and winning. So, we're starting to get off, but there's some cool places in South Jersey. Again, if you don't have a horse in a race, get yourself to a local game. Support the band, support the cheerleading, watch a football game, have fun doing it. It's good stuff.
Absolutely. And Cherry Hill East, Coach Drobbs in his 3rd year there. Since he's been there, they haven't had a losing season. 6-4 the first year, 5-5 last year, and 3-0 this year. And I just got to talk about that a little bit, because not only have they not been 3-0 for 13 years, this is a program from, I believe, 2013 to 2017, roughly that stretch. They had 3 winless seasons. So this is a program that's came a long way. They've turned it around. just talking to some of the players and the coach after the game, the camaraderie is just different. People are in the weight room more. So it's a nice little, feel-good rebuild story to see. So congratulations to the Cougars moving to 3-0. And
it's hard to get that ball rolling, right? You got to, the kids want to play on winners, and you got to win before they come, and then some of the kids don't want to. It's like chicken and the egg thing, right? And you got to kind of crack through so people start want to sniff around and come back, and you want to get that multi-sport athlete that says, you know what, let me jump back on and let me get in, and then the weight room stuff. I mean, I'm going to date myself again like I usually do. Man, in '88, Cherry Hill East was the #1 team in South Jersey. People were like, what? Yeah, with the Foley, there was a stint of Foleys from Eddie Foley to Cliff, to Glenn, Kevin, and all of them. They were, Eddie was the lineman, but all the rest of them all played quarterback. And, and Glenn had a stint in the NFL for a little bit, more than a stint. So, these guys are, East has won, they were some games back in the day, Pennsauken High, Cherry Hill East in the mid '80s, and with that community and the big, the numbers, the sheer numbers Cherry Hill has, I mean, they're dying to win football games. So it's great, for them to be 3-0. Good stuff.
Absolutely. And our last two scores of the Friday slate: Sterling defeats Mastery Charter 16-12, and Haddon Township defeats Clayton 29-7. Moving on to our Saturday scores: Cherry Hill West, a 33-7 winner over Clearview. Quarterback Hayden Baker was 7 for 17 for 106 yards, a touchdown and 2 rushing touchdowns. Asa McMillan, 2 interceptions, including a pick 6, in the 33-7 win for the Lions. Camden Catholic and Paulsboro, an overtime thriller. The Irish pull out a 29-28 win. Quarterback Michael Moritz, 13 for 17, 194 yards passing, a touchdown, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Nymir Daly, 23 carries, 112 yards, and a touchdown. And Josh Collier, 2 receptions, 91 yards, and a touchdown. I believe the Irish were trailing by 16 late in this game, or Paulsboro, I believe, was trailing by 16, came back, made it a game, and the Irish held their ground in overtime. Huge win for the Irish, another team that has a big game coming up this week that we'll get into later. Pennsville, 39-22 winner over Overbrook. Rylan Hardy had 3 rushing touchdowns. Malik Ramir, a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown in the Eagles' 39-22 win. Burlington Township, 21-0 over Haddon Heights. Aiden Binns had 2 rushing touchdowns, and Baron Davis had a passing touchdown. Another program with first-year coach, but a coach who's been around for a little bit, Stephen Everett. Falcons are undefeated. Huge shutout win over Haddon Heights on the Saturday morning game. So the Falcons are keeping it rolling. Gloucester Catholic won 21-20 over Pittman. C.J. Mitchell was 6 for 9 for 64 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Jude Van Alken and Carlos Mendez each caught a touchdown pass. And Dane Cullum for the Panthers was 13 for 21 and 158 yards and 2 touchdowns in the setback. Moving forward, Glassboro was a 24-0 winner over Pennsgrove. The Bulldogs remain undefeated. ACIT, Atlantic County Institute of Technology, with a 21-14 win over Deptford in overtime. It was the Red Hawks' first win in program history. Chris Mancuso's first win as head coach, being it was their first win in program history. Anthony Gaetano, 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. Dante Franchini had a receiving touchdown. And the Red Hawks win. They were the first technical school in South Jersey to win a game since the 1950s, I read this morning.
Stop.
That's what I read this morning. That was the last technical school in South Jersey to win a football game.
Trib, is that right? Someone got to tell us that. That's crazy. I mean, I believe you, Kath. I'm just saying, that's crazy. Good for them.
I'm just a messenger. That's what I read this morning.
Congrats. And, that's awesome. Good for those guys. That's a big time.
That's a staff that has Paul Seiko on, and obviously, I mean, that's a South Jersey coaching legend right there.
Absolutely.
So those kids, I'm sure, are getting some good instruction from some good leaders.
Coach Sack is coaching them up, no doubt on that. and it's proofs in the pudding, as they say. So good for them. 21-14 over Deptford. Wow.
Absolutely, and they're on a short week. They'll be back in action against Triton this week and looking to build off that first win in program history. Pennsauken was a 25-0 winner over Highland. Randall Blunt had 2 rushing touchdowns. Jaden Polk had a punt return touchdown. And our last Saturday game to recap, Woodbury against Salem, two teams that have met a lot in the playoffs in recent years. Woodbury came out victorious, 25-0. Quarterback Tim Holmes was 11 for 16 for 240 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Elijah Young, 4 receptions, 157 yards, and a touchdown. And Marquise Taylor, 1 receiving touchdown and a pick 6, which leads us right into our next segment we'll dive right into. We mentioned a pick 6 from Marquise Taylor. It's time for the Knots of the Week. I know past couple weeks, it's been early in the season, so there's only been a few. This week, I think we got a loaded lineup this week, don't we, Rick?
Yes, sir. We got a loaded lineup of Knots of the Week. Coach, I think you might like these.
Oh, I like any knot because the knots they're game changers at every level, everything. So I always love watching teams score on defense or special teams. Good stuff.
And here we go.
Let's
Ready,
get
Kev?
into it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, so number 5 here, we have Marquise Taylor, who we just mentioned, a pick 6 and a 25-0 win over Salem. Quarterback drops back.
That's a tough throw to make, Coach. Across the field in your own end zone, that's a tough throw to make.
Moving forward here, we have Jaden Polk, another player we just mentioned from Pennsauken, 93-yard punt return. Look at that, just elusive, gets to the sideline.
Is he Frankie's son or nephew?
I'm not 100%
Oh man,
sure.
well now look, Frankie. If that's Frankie never ran like that, but Frankie played tight end. We'll talk. I don't want to get in guys' way here. Joe Lacrosse, sorry, I got Harvard Township on this one.
Here he goes, he picks it up, also gets to the right sideline, and he is gone.
Come on, guys, got to keep the edge. Got to keep the edge on this stuff. But he's flying. Oh, goodness.
74 yards there.
Yes, he did.
Gateway here, DJ Bink catches the punt.
Another punt. Bang. Breaks 1, breaks 2. Keep your feet there. Bang, keep leverage. Everybody goes for the inside dip, don't they, Rod?
Yeah, go for it.
Don't go for the dip.
And this week we have not 1 but 2 knots, I believe, at number 1. Tyree Roan, 2 big plays in the Eagles win over Gloucester.
I would hope Tyree gives his love to his D lineman who just laid out the quarterback right before that throw, because that was part of the problem or part of the result. This one, he's floating. Man, that guy just plays center field like he's Willie Mays. My goodness.
One thing that I liked from all of these knots was the fact that it wasn't a lot of crackback blocks. Guys were kind of turning around, getting in the way, and not getting that 15-yarder thrown on them, and allowing their players to go in for a touchdown, which is really good. That means that the rules are starting to
sink
into the
and the
players.
coaches are coaching, and the kids are listening.
Right.
And we're not getting into all the. I don't want to call it the cheap shot, but the crossback, the back block. We used to do it all the time.
The crackback, you couldn't.
Right. We did it all the time, but there's no. If you think about it, there's no need for it, right? There's no need. We had it happen, not a crack back, but we had it happen in our. Because I'm kind of helping out a little bit at the MYA 10-year-olds, and we had a little pick, and the kid, one of our guys, turned around to go. Well, no, it wasn't a pick. He was a deeper route, and he peeled back to go make a block. And the ref says to me, he's like, "Oh, it's fine. He got his hands out." I go, but I don't need a kid at 10 to think that he could turn around. No reason to turn around, I said. Yeah. There's no reason to turn around, young guys, right? Run, get in this, as Rod says, get in guys' way, but if you're going to turn around and you're going to hit somebody, you're going to get called for it.
Yep.
Right? Even if it's, it's in the front, I get the head across. Don't even, worst thing that happens is you pick up 60 yards, maybe he gets tackled. He'll probably score, though.
Right.
Probably score. He doesn't need that extra block.
Yep. Congratulations, Tyree Roan, this week's Not Player of the Week.
Not of the week. Yes.
And not 1, but 2.
Yeah, there you go. But so good stuff, Tyree.
So that wraps up our second segment, recapping games and the knots of the week. We're going to head to commercial break. When we get back, we got some big games to talk about this week, and we're going to get right into it, followed up by the game of the week, and we still have the best 11 rankings to come. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The South Jersey Football Frenzy show's presenting sponsor is the West Jersey Football Coaches Association. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. And in less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and dedicated itself to helping others. They've donated close to $80,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley. I've had nothing but the best to say about Mike Foti in the time I've had the chance to be around him and his crew. SRA is a gold accredited member of the Better Business Bureau, under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up the Best of South Jersey awards throughout their past. They contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by the NJFOA South Officials Association. Are you passionate about football? Don't wait. Become a part of the NJFOA South Officials Association and join them to help officiate high school football games. With a diverse community of more than 250 members, they proudly oversee every high school football game in South Jersey, setting the standard for officiating in the state. By joining the chapter, you will become part of a team that upholds the highest standards in the game. They are more than just officials. They're advocates for sportsmanship, integrity, and guardians of player safety, champions of fair play. They offer the proper training to ensure you're ready to make the calls and uphold the values. Ready to put on the stripes and join the team? Visit www.njfoasouth.org and hit Join Us to register now. That's www.njfoa-south.org and hit Join Us to register now. Elevate your love for the game and become a football official with NJFOA South.
And welcome back to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Kevin Emmons here, joined by Coach Mack and Roderick Self, making the magic happen behind the boards. We're going to jump right into our third segment, the weekend preview. Going to breeze through some games here. We'll start off with the Thursday games. A couple more Thursday games this week compared to last week as the season starts to get into full swing. So anyone interested in getting out to some Thursday games this week, we have at 6 p.m., Paulsboro at Collingswood, Bridgeton at Deptford, Salem at Glassboro, Atlantic Tech at Triton. We have one 6:30 p.m. game, Vineland at Pennsauken, and one 7 o'clock game, Paul VI at Pleasantville. Moving forward to our Friday games, as we've mentioned a few times earlier in the show, a loaded slate on Friday.
In a loaded conference.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. I mean, like we said, there's no weeks off. A lot of these teams are playing each other every single week.
Right.
And it's not even just the American division. There's some other divisions towards the top of the list there where these guys are meeting each other every week. And the first big one at 6 o'clock, I mean, St. Augustine and Winslow. I mean, regardless of who you talk to, everyone's got different rankings and whatnot, but pretty much you look at any ranking in South Jersey from any outlet, I mean, these are two of the top three teams in South Jersey. So this is a major matchup right here. They've never faced off ever in either one's program's history, haven't faced each other. The Hermits and the Eagles in
Almost
ATCO.
never played Winslow?
It's another fact I read this morning.
Hey, Rod.
Listen, he
We
throwing
better-
them out there.
We better have fact checking too, you know, because people know I don't know nothing. So I'm gonna lean on our brains here. All right?
I was surprised myself. I read it this morning from a reliable source. It's the first time they're playing each other in both their respective histories. So somebody's going to go 1-0 in the series. And these are two really good teams that we both talked about earlier in the show. I mean,
It's gonna be a game.
This is going to be a game.
Yeah, a game.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a big one in terms of you look at the styles. I mean, the Hermits, as we talked about, the game of the week last week, they're going to ground and pound. They're going to play defense. They're going to try to control the line of scrimmage. And Winslow holds their own as well up front, but this is a team that's known traditionally for just having athletes, having speed, being able to beat you vertically. And they, don't get me wrong, they run the ball too. They get after it. They got several different ways how they could beat you. It's going to be an interesting game.
Their front seven's got to step up because, you know, Lancetta's patient attack. He'll run that cat till it's over if he has. You know, he don't care. He doesn't have to be sexy.
Any signs of weakness as far as the run defense?
Yes.
They're going to continue to
Yes.
run the ball. That's
Yes.
what kind of happened last week.
Yes. If you ever been to a Hamilton game back in the day, he'll run belly 30 times in a row if he needs. If there's a crack, he'll break it. So, meaning coach will just keep doing it. So. And Winslow, to your point, has got speed, the big play ability, all that stuff. So, and They're right. They play right there on 73. I'm like advertising for South Jersey football, man. You go. It's really easy to get to, right?
Very
Absolutely.
easy.
You know, go to Winslow Township. Go support the either the Hermits or the Eagles if you got nothing to do on any other team. But that's a good one.
Absolutely. Moving forward, we got Millville and Washington Township. Millville fresh off a huge win over Mainland, number one team in South Jersey right now, and that's pretty much consensus. Everyone can agree on that. Playing a Washington Township team that's been on an upward trend the past couple years. They're undefeated. They were in a sectional championship or sectional semifinal last year. One of the two. Someone in the comments can let us know. I don't know off the top of my head, but a program that's been finding success recently. They got a tall task. They're at home, right there in Turnersville, Sewell, wherever that might be, whatever side of town that is. It's all right there. Big one coming in, though, with Millville coming to town.
Shaspin's got look. This is a big good game for this is for Township, right? They want to get that cannon booming on their end.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this place is going to be hopping. It's going to be packed. It's going to be old school Washington Township. Concessions going. Got some pretty good concession stand. By the way, Winslow's got one of the best in the area too. But doesn't Trib always talk about that walking taco he grabs before the game?
That's usually at Winslow.
That's
Yep,
Winslow, right?
Winslow,
yeah.
yep.
I don't do the walking taco too much, but I've heard it's fantastic. But at Washington Township, again, atmosphere. But Millville likes atmosphere too, Coach.
Yeah.
Something Brooks likes bright lights too, Coach.
Yes.
So what's the line all week in the coach's office at Township? If we can just,
That's the question.
right? They're going, hey, special, like if we can just, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what everybody's kind of thinking. What are they? This is the third week of the season, right? This is their third game.
Yep.
Four.
Week 3, 4.
If they
including
started
week
0, fourth
Well,
game of the season.
Fourth game of the season. The question has the question on the test has not been answered by anybody yet.
No.
So we are all thinking you want to control Big Bad Bama, which is Lasir Brooks. That's the kind of question. That's the question. If you can contain him a little bit, you may give yourself a shot. I mean, Millville is rolling on all cylinders. Their defense is really good. Their offense is starting to come around and show that they can run the ball and do some things without Brooks in the mix. But you got a special cat on your team.
Coach, I've seen. Listen, to Millville's credit, like when teams have tried to over/under him, press him down, get a guy on top, take away, maybe 3-on-1 him, right? Like, okay, guy on top, guy on face, guy on slant. So say we're not. Okay, so then on the other, now you got 8 guys defending the other 10, right? You got any QB counter, QB power, you can't even defend it with your 11, let alone 8.
Right.
Or it's tough to. But then you know what they do sometimes? They'll put them, I've seen them put them at tailback and just say, all right, let's toss to one. Right? Like, now, it's not what they, that's not what they want to do. And they got other guys they can do that to or toss to. But it's pick your poison, right? Like we talk every week, what are you going to do? You're going to over-under them with an inside shade on them and okay. But he's going to touch the ball, right? He's going to touch the ball. And it's like we got like repeat, rinse, repeat. And listen, he only has to touch. He only has to touch it what? If he touches it 4 times, he's going to have 100 yards of all-purpose.
Well, that's the difference between him and some of the other players that are really good. And it's not to overstate this, but he's proven. I mean, he's the receiving leader for touchdowns, right? So if you give him the ball, he's going to score. So whether it's a tunnel screen, a jet, a bubble, a dig, a quick slant, whatever it may be, he's proven that when he gets the ball, he's going to put it in the end zone. So, I mean, that's the question.
Right.
Yeah.
That is the question.
And look, and we saw this last week a little bit. I did live. What you don't have is you don't have a guy on your team in scout team who's going to be number 1 that
That
week.
can replicate. Yeah.
Oh, there's going to be a guy showing up in a white jersey, number 1. Who's playing him today? Who's our scout? who's our scout receiver playing Brooks? You got to steal somebody from the track team.
Yeah, I mean,
and the track, right?
and if you do, he's on your defense.
Yeah, but I mean the college
You know
track
what I mean?
team. I mean the track team from down the street. your local
Yep.
college. Because that dude, he tops out at 22 miles an hour, which is crazy.
Yep.
Or 22 point, I'm sorry, Mr. Brooks, it's probably a little higher than 22. 22 point something, but that's fast.
Yep.
Fast.
Well, like you said, he only needs 4 touches to have 100 all-purpose yards, and someone like him, 4 touches might be 4 touchdowns. I read also another fact from this morning that you guys, if you need to fact check that reliable
Kevin,
source.
I believe you. I'm not,
It's like the debate in here. We're
Go
going to
ahead.
have a fact check coming
Go
up
ahead.
in a minute.
I know, is that real? Is that real?
Brooks is less than 200 receiving yards away from being the first receiver in South Jersey history with 4,000 receiving yards in a career. The state record, I believe, is around 4,200. It was 4,222, give or take.
He's going to smash that.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely.
Wait. Look, I want a good game, but he might do that Friday.
Yeah.
Could be. Could happen.
He only needs 200 to get 4, or he needs a couple to get $4,000.
I want to say the number was 169 to get $4,000, and 4,222, I believe, was the state record. Number, give or take. These are rough
So he
estimates.
needs 400 to break the state record, roughly.
It's no game that he goes into that he doesn't have an opportunity to break it. I don't care if it's 400 or 500. If they want him to break it, he can break it that night.
Right. You're on your 2. You throw a slant. Boop.
There you go.
Both teams here, I mean, this is a big matchup. I mean, 2 programs, sectional championship, state championship aspirations. Washington Township Group 5, Millville Group 4. So they won't have to see each other in the playoffs, but these are the kind of games that will prepare both teams for the playoffs. So as I'd imagine, both teams are looking forward to this matchup this Friday night. Moving forward, we got a battle down at the Shore. Atlantic City at Ocean City on Friday night at Cary Stadium. Ocean City 3-0. Atlantic City 1-2 with a big win over Cedar Creek last week. Looking to build on that. As I said, they're 1-2 with 2 losses to Mainland and Millville. So, I mean, the schedule doesn't get any easier for them, and they're going to be ready for this game. They got a lot of athletes. They're quick. They're fast. They're going to be ready for this game.
Yeah. I mean, Ocean City. Yeah, this is a tough challenge. I mean, Ocean City had a big win against Lenape last week. But they're used to playing Atlantic City. They know what's coming in town. Again, if you're going down for Irish weekend down to Wildwood, Rod, stop on the way down and watch the Ocean City game. I mean, that's a fun time, and go on a Ferris wheel and grab some pizza. And it's a great environment, great atmosphere. So good for them. And I'm reading ahead. I'm sorry, Kev. You got Cherokee at Mainland. My goodness. I mean, I don't want to step on it a little bit, but you got Mainland trying to regroup, right? You got Absolutely. Mainland trying to regroup. Both teams trying to get back off the snide. Mainland got a little bit of not what they're used to, and Cherokee got Cherokee didn't got not handled by Augustine, but they lost 21-7. I think they won, and at home that doesn't sit well with the Chiefs.
Absolutely. So both teams looking to get back on track there. Big game for both teams. Someone's got to come out a winner. Someone's going to get back on the right track. And two teams that are similar in terms of style a little bit. They pride themselves on defense. They like to run the ball. They can both pass the ball if they need to.
Sure.
But
they're both going to sleep well Saturday night, or Friday night, that's for sure, because there's going to be some banging going on in that one.
Absolutely. And Linwood's a tough place to play. Been down there for a couple games, times. It's going to be a tough place to play. So big one coming up this Friday night, Cherokee and Mainland. Moving forward, we have West Deptford and Camden Catholic, 2 programs that have traditionally had success in South Jersey. Both kind of had some down years, but both are, up and coming again. Both teams with 2 wins, coming off wins last week. And we got a big one in Cherry Hill this week. So, it's a chance for the Eagles to get the 3-1 under John Emmel, his first year there. Camden Catholic, I believe, off the top of my head, is 2-0, 2-1, 2-0, I believe. They have a chance to get the 3-0. So 2 programs looking to resurge and get back to where they were.
100%, absolutely.
And then moving forward, we have Kingsway and Delsey, 2 teams we talked about a little bit earlier in the show. Traditional powers in South Jersey, Gloucester County programs, not separated by much. Delsey kind of, trying to find their footing right now, a team that's had a lot of success, won a state championship last year, just going through a new regime, learning some new things on the fly. Still a very good football team, a good chance for them to get in the win column this year.
New coach, right? New coach at Delsey. It's tough. They're replacing legends over there, and they lost a lot of dudes, right? They lose a lot of dudes. Kingsway always defensively is always in a position to very sound on that side of the ball. Obviously, Coach Hendricks and crew does, and Coach Miller on the defensive side does a great job. They bounced back last week with a win, right? They were, I believe, Kingsway.
Timber Creek.
Beat Timber Creek last week. So looking to stack some wins, as they say, stack days, and start getting back on a roll for them, for the Dragons.
Absolutely, and that wraps up our 6 o'clock games to check out on Friday night. Got one 7 p.m. game, Seneca at Haddonfield, 2 sectional finalists, 2 teams on the younger side, but well coached, and they don't care if they're on the younger side. Or as some would say, the rebuilding side. It's not a rebuild to them. They still expect to be competitive and compete, come later in the season. So 2 teams looking to establish themselves. Seneca 2-1 right now. Haddonfield coming off a narrow loss to Willingboro, a tough loss where they were in it for most of the game. Someone's got to come out victorious. And as I said, 2 teams that are, expecting to be there later on in the year, late in November.
Oh, yeah. And, Seneca, we said, new coach. And, Frankie always puts, again, at Haddonfield, good spot for them.
Absolutely. Saturday, we have one big game for everyone to check out at 11 a.m. Shawnee and Rancocas Valley. Shawnee's a team you've seen play this year. They got to head into Mount Holly, 2 of the largest programs in Burlington County, 2 teams that have had a lot of success over, past couple decades. What are you looking forward to in that matchup?
Look, Shawnee has to get itself back together, right? I mean, they had a tough one against Camden High. We talked about it earlier in the show. They had 2 big wins in the beginning of the year with Williamstown and Northern Burlington. RV has had some big wins. Had a big win last week against Camden Eastside. So, you look. It's I think the first thing is on the outside you got to look at we're playing on Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, not at our place. It's a different time. Well, RV doesn't usually play at 11 o'clock, but I think once or twice a year they do something, whether it be a homecoming situation or have a school day where, not school day, but they have an event planned around the football game. So, RV's looking to keep going. Shawnee's trying to get back on it. I mean, it'll be interesting what Shawnee does up front. A lot of dudes up front. So it's, as we've talked in the past, if you're a Shawnee fan, like I am, you got to control that football, pound the ball, and making sure you limit the explosive plays on RV. That's for sure.
Absolutely, and RV is a team that down at the Battle at the Beach, they lost to Pascack Valley, responded with wins against Camden Eastside, beat Pleasantville, put up 44 points and then 42 points last week. It's a team that has some young guys. They're experienced, skilled position guys, but I know they brought in a completely new offensive line, got a first-year quarterback under center, but offense hasn't seemed to miss a beat. I mean, 40-plus points in consecutive weeks, so it should be a good matchup in Mount Holly on Saturday morning.
Yep. They got some guys, both teams. They got some dudes. That's for sure.
Well, we're going to head to commercial. When we come back, we will get into our game of the week. We got one more massive matchup to talk about, a highly anticipated matchup in South Jersey this Friday night, and then we'll get into Mark's Best 11 rankings. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show's presenting sponsor is the West Jersey Football Coaches Association. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. And in less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and dedicated itself to helping others. They've donated close to $80,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley. I've had nothing but the best to say about Mike Foti in the time I've had the chance to be around him and his crew. SRA is a gold accredited member of the Better Business Bureau, under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up Best of South Jersey awards throughout their past. They contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by the NJFOA South Officials Association. Are you passionate about football? Don't wait. Become a part of the NJFOA South Officials Association and join them to help officiate high school football games. With a diverse community of more than 250 members, they proudly oversee every high school football game in South Jersey, setting the standard for officiating in the state. By joining the chapter, you will become part of a team that upholds the highest standards in the game. They are more than just officials. They're advocates for sportsmanship, integrity, and guardians of player safety, champions of fair play. They offer the proper training to ensure you're ready to make the calls and uphold the values. Ready to put on the stripes and join the team? Visit www.njfoasouth.org and hit Join Us to register now. That's www.njfoa-south.org and hit Join Us to register now. Elevate your love for the game and become a football official with NJFOA South.
And welcome back to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. I'm Kevin Emmons, joined here by Coach Mack and Roderick Self, producing. Jumping into our next segment, the game of the week, we got another massive one on deck. Holy Spirit at Camden, 6 p.m. Friday. Traditionally a style clash. We can't fully say that because, Holy Spirit likes to, air it out as well. Two top 6 teams in South Jersey. They've only met one time. Holy Spirit won the last meeting 34-8 in 2021. So I don't think any of these guys playing were on either one of those teams. But still, that stuff still kind of lingers. You still think about it. Right. All right, we played this program before. We lost. It's time for us to, get our revenge. So, these teams are both going to be ready to play.
My math works out. They could have had a freshman, right? 21, 2, 3, 4, maybe. But, like you said, it's a new crop of kids. Two programs that are well coached. I saw Camden live last week, and we talked about in the last segment, and they are good on both sides of the ball. They fly to the ball on defense. They're sound. They don't make mistakes. And on offense, they're very multifaceted. They throw it. They run it. They don't try to do anything they can't. They take you what you give you. Like I said last week, Brunson was hitting some middle route, dig routes, or tough covers for linebackers and safeties in there. So, and look, patience, and they'll run the ball as well. So it's going to be a tough one. And then as we talked about Spirit going into Farnham Park, going into Camden High, tough place to play on a Friday night. But look, Spirit's not going to back down. They're not worried about it. They're not scared. They've been in the big games. They've pulled games out. They've played in that big boy conference down there, playing Augie, playing Millville. So they're not going to be intimidated by Camden being as good as Camden is. But again, another good football game happening in South Jersey. A ton of them every week. It's like, boom, tough to pick games a week, and this is going to be a good one.
Absolutely, and it makes it so much more fun. We have two teams coming in, rolling on all cylinders. Holy Spirit loses at the Battle at the Beach, back-to-back shutouts. Put up, past two games they put up 80-something points, haven't allowed a point. Camden has been rolling all year. Went down to Virginia, played down there. They came back, played some in-state competition, played Kingsway, played Shawnee. They haven't missed a beat either. Just pure domination, both sides of the ball. So we got two hot teams coming in, both ready to play. A lot of good players on both sides. And
look, you're not going to see. It's not going to be like, you're going to see a good football game. These are fun games to watch. High school football. Rob, we don't. We're showing our age, man. It's. I was with a guy this past weekend, and he was, coaching in a different state, and he said to me, "Jersey football's pretty good, right?" I gave him a look. I was like, yeah, it is.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And South Jersey football's really good.
Right.
And, and a lot of good players, a lot of great coaching, it's a fun thing to watch. look, when you got a horse in a race, you want that team to win. But if you don't, it's an entertaining product, I'll say, out there. Where it used to be like, remember, a high school game would take an hour and a half, and you'd have two teams running. It looked like a rugby scrum again. Now it's so well done. Teams are so well coached, and this is another game of the week that's just going to be. If I could be in a couple places this weekend, I would be.
I mean, this is the week where you have a couple of games, about three to four games this week that are really good, but I really like this one. I really want to see how Camden adjusts to the style of defense that Holy Spirit plays, where they throw a lot of fastballs at you.
Sure.
Holy Spirit has some good players as well. So it's one of those games. It's kind of at that point where we're almost to mid-season, and you're starting to figure out who's who.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Millville, they kind of dominated Holy Spirit at the Battle at the Beach, but Holy Spirit bounced back.
Absolutely.
So we're trying to figure out who they really are, and this is a great test for both teams.
Absolutely. Holy Spirit's a team. I haven't seen them in game action yet. I've seen them in a scrimmage. We seen them when they were scrimmaging down at Cherokee, and we were impressed by the fact that they were just their offensive line was just moving guys, and they're not overly huge. Like they're a big offensive line, but they were just moving guys. I mean, they're getting moving the line of scrimmage. Running backs getting 5-6 yards. Like they play incredibly tough for their size. Camden I haven't seen yet this year, but this is an experienced team. I've seen a lot last year.
Same.
Yeah, exactly.
Same.
Exactly.
I've seen them.
Exactly.
I've seen them. Like, when you got an offensive line at Camden, and it's always like be wary of the guy who's not too big on Camden High's line, right? Because that's typically the nastiest dude out there.
Right.
Millville as well, right? Like you look, that guy's little. He only weighs 210, playing guard, and then bang, he's snapping heads. And to your point, Spirit, they got some road graders up front. They got tough kids, weight room kids, disciplined, getting after it. Same on both sides. Again, I'm broken record here, but that's going to be a fun game to watch. Like your point, Rod. There's all over South Jersey. There's games, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just was flipping through, and I'm looking, cheating back, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, you got every week. It's these matchups that's going to make up, this top 11. It's teams are going to.
It's kind of what we talked about in weeks before about teams that are. It's the turnover where we had it when Leary was quarterback and Cardsman. Some of those guys left, and you retired from coaching. It was a lot.
Because I didn't want to see any more Learys. I was tired.
It was a lot going on. It was really good players that were leaving, coaches that were leaving. And we've had that over the last couple of years. We've had a large turnover with coaches and players. So now you're at that point where we're getting the new quarterbacks in Millville's quarterback. We're getting the guys who have been in the shadows of the top quarterbacks now, like the Brunsons and guys like that who are starting to. They're having their coming out party, so to say.
Sure.
So we're in that mode where we're seeing some really good football, and I like
a generational shift.
Yes.
The next group of dudes.
So
there are dudes, that's for sure.
I just had one question. I mean,
what's up?
The whole show, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure out what's different. I know Kev's here. Kev, you did a great job today. Congratulations on your first time on the show. Good job. Congratulations.
Just hoping to be a decent backup quarterback, fill in, and make sure things are smoothly.
The last time I did my first show, then I'm 8 years later doing shows 8 years later, Kev. So, hey, Trib.
Hey, we might have a spot for you. But that, I was trying to figure it out, but that was not it, Kev. I'm sitting here the whole time, Coach Mack is in blue. Everybody out there, I know you probably picked up on it, Coach Mack is normally in red. A hint of red.
Or maybe a Shawnee Carolina light blue sometimes.
Maybe. But you have on the blue today. Is there any particular reason why you have the blue on?
I am sporting I don't know if it's officially called, but it's the Duke blue, Rod. The royal blue. I don't have I guess this looks kind of royal. Mm-hmm. we had an interesting week at Shawnee High School this week. Early in the week, a lacrosse player, Tyler Rockowitz, committed to Rutgers University, Division I lacrosse. And then on we found out on Monday, the running back from Shawnee, Brett Lumberg, committed to the Duke Blue Devils.
Congratulations.
Lacrosse. To Brett Lumberg's been killing it on the football field, not as well as the lacrosse field.
But coach,
Yes.
I know those two guys, right? I mean, congratulations to those two guys, but they're you know, what's the correlation?
Well, Shawnee got it. There's a third guy, Shawnee, that committed yesterday, and now I'm hearing about some social media postings, and I don't even know how to work my iPhone, but yeah, Rod, Tommy Mack, bud. My son is committed to play lacrosse for the Duke Blue Devils come class of 2030. He's a junior right now, plays for Shawnee football, and we're blessed and proud, and you know, God's been good, and he's worked his butt off like all these kids have, and all these guys in South Jersey. It's I know Shawnee has that Carolina. I'm cracking my voice, Rod.
Listen.
You get me. So I know Carolina has that. I mean, Shawnee has that Carolina blue, but I got to fit more to that Williamstown tone of blue now. My son's a Blue Devil. Tommy, you know, we're proud of you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Tom.
Yeah, a lot of support.
Absolutely, congratulations.
All those guys, and it was a really cool experience.
Anybody that has had kids that have gone through the process of the recruitment, have gone through just trying to see if you're going to be able to play at the next level, and for you guys to reach that achievement, and for him to put the work in, you know, the long hours, the traveling, the weekends, it all comes to a point right now where you guys get to enjoy this. That's a huge accomplishment. Duke Blue Devils, listen, you got a great family that's coming your way. Coach, we're all proud of you. Congratulations to you and your wife.
Thank you. Tracy's, you know, like I'm not usually speechless, Rod. It's just been surreal. You know, the way for all these kids, I know a lot of parents, I mean, the recruiting process is hard. It's hard. And that's another show unto itself on how it gets done and how these kids make these decisions. And, you know, and speaking, the coaches in the processes for Tom were great at all the schools he looked at. And, you know, everybody to a man is like the NCAA has to fix some things and some, you know, at all sports, right? There's, you know, nothing's perfect, but they got to fix some of these recruiting things on how these kids can make some, you know, I'm like, my kid's he's a junior in high school, and yes, he's going to be a Duke Blue Devil, but he's got 2 more years he's got to finish out this football season. He's got 2 more years of lacrosse season. He's got a lot of high school in front of him.
But he got the biggest thing behind him right now. He could kind of focus on that part of it.
Focus the classroom. Continue to focus the classroom, because
come on, that's Duke, man. We already know he's doing what he's supposed to do in the classroom.
You got to keep doing what you're doing in the classroom. And he thank you.
I know you're choked up now, but let me give you something as a parent that has gone through it. We dropped him off. I didn't cry. I looked over at his mom, and she was kind of, you know, trying to fight him back. You know how that goes.
Moms and their boys.
Right. None of that got me. What got me was the first time that he ran onto the field.
Oh yeah.
That's when
I can't even think about it. Right?
I'm from some tough place. I was born in Columbus. I was raised in Clarksdale, Mississippi, which is one of the poorest states. And I pretty much grew up in Camden, New Jersey from the 8 and 9. So I always had to fight, and I had to defend myself. I was the only person there, right?
Oh, yeah.
I had to be a tough guy when I wasn't too tough at times, right? That all goes out the window.
Oh yeah.
So enjoy it, though. I just say that, enjoy.
How about when the coach gives them the offer?
Oh yeah, that's another one too.
God. Like yeah, thank you. It's but as we say, as in, you know, time to get back to work, right? Football season. I'm so glad he's, you know, helping. He's with Shawnee, he's playing receiver, playing D-back, and out there with his boy Brett Lundberg, who's committed as well with the Blue Devils, and Tyler Rockowitz, their boy, he's Rutgers commit. So the Shawnee Renegades lacrosse team's got actually, and also a senior commit, Kale Stalow, is going to Iona. So 4 committed kids for the Shawnee Renegades.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool, pretty elite program in South Jersey, and you know, I mean, we could have a lacrosse show and talk about them in Morristown, how they get how they battle every year. But that's not today's show, so that's in the spring. So thank you, I appreciate. Yeah, it's been cool. So thanks, Rod.
Congrats.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks,
Congratulations, Tommy, and congratulations all the Shawnee lacrosse players continuing their academic and athletic journey at the next level beyond high school. Our last segment we're going to jump into is Mark's Best 11 rankings. We're going to run right through these from 11 to 1.
I mean,
South Jersey.
Mark's
Glory Days, South Jersey Glory Days Best 11.
South Jersey Football Frenzies, South Jersey Glory Days Best 11.
Right.
Fair enough. My apologies. My apologies. All I can think about is Mark sending me, here you go. Here's the rankings for the week.
Triple's like, well, who do you think he gets the ranking? Who do you think he talks to about the rankings?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mark's
fair enough.
probably,
Let me not take credit from these guys. Let me not take credit from these guys.
He's not here, but he's probably figuring out good show is getting ready to go off the rails right now.
Right. They're going. This is the end. This is where they all get punchy. Oh, really? That's who's number 1, Mark. Thanks.
Right.
Thanks. He needs help with 7, 8. Now we have to make Rod and I help him make the sausage.
Yes.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The 1, 2, and 3 is pretty easy. He needs help figuring out the sausage in the middle.
My apologies, Mark, for throwing you under the bus and not understanding the correct way of the operation. Look, at least I was saving you guys.
That's true, but here's the deal.
If you guys want to call no heat.
Here's the reality. When a guy's not here, hey, it's open season, right? you can't. If you're not here to defend yourself, that's not our problem, right? It's open season.
Right. Yeah.
So, my boy says, you can't talk about somebody, they're not here. I'm like, that's when it's best.
Yeah.
And then we'll tell him what we were talking about. But I'm sure Chirp is marionetting from wherever he is and some, So, all right. Sorry, I got in the way.
Let's get into it. The best 11 rankings from 11 down to 1. At 11, we have Atlantic City jumping in the rankings with a huge 42-0 win over Cedar Creek last week. At number 10, we have the 3-0 Willingboro Chimeras, who beat Haddonfield last week. At number 9, Glassboro, defending South Jersey Group 1 champion, Group 1 state finalist. They are at number 9 after a win over Pennsgrove. Number 8, we have Mainland coming off the loss to Millville. They will be hosting number 7 this week, Cherokee, who's coming off the loss to St. Augustine. At number 6, we have Holy Spirit, 2 straight shutouts for the Spartans, who will be heading to number 5, Camden, who is coming off a huge win over Shawnee last week. The Panthers sit at number 5. At number 4, we have Washington Township, who had a big win over Delsea this week. They'll be hosting Millville. At number 3, we have Winslow Township, who will be welcoming to town number 2, St. Augustine. St. Augustine defeated Cherokee last week. Winslow, where they'll be traveling, who's at number 3, defeated Williamstown last week. And at number 1, the consensus undisputed number 1 team in South Jersey, the Millville Thunderbolts, who are undefeated and have just handled business up until this point.
Yes, they are. But Rod, it feels like it's every week. This week we got 1 verse 4, right? Mm-hmm. We got 2 verse 3, right? We have 5 verse 6, right? Camden's playing Spirit, yes?
Yep.
And we got Millville playing Township. That's 1-4. We got St. Augustine playing Winslow. That's 2-3. It's every week. My goodness.
But that's the that's the beauty of the way that we kind of came in and with the rankings this year, is that teams have opportunities to kind of jump into wherever they feel they should be. Right? They're going to play some good teams.
Hey, Washington Township.
Right.
You want to be number 1?
Right.
You want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So, it's real, some people might, be say, Augie Millville. Sometimes they play a little.
Right.
Yeah, so it all.
Yeah, if Township could pull this win off, that's a huge statement.
Huge.
Yep. Some discussions will have to be made.
Right.
That cannon will be going off all night in that town, right? All night. Right? Get used to it, folks.
Yeah.
When that cannon goes off that first time, what the?
But here's the thing. We're looking at the matchups this week. There are some huge ones next week as well. So we'll get into it. That's for next week's show.
Look. take care of business, folks. Like, don't be looking at next week. Like, we can look at next week. Rod can look at next week. Kevin can look. Not coaches play. Well, coaches don't look. They don't look past the next play sometimes. But, you know, it's going to be fun. Fun week, fun year. It's getting, it's getting rocking and rolling.
Yep.
Well, that pretty much wraps up this week's edition of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. We want to thank Roderick Self again, his company D2 Sports Network, the man behind the glass here who does it all from beautiful Studio B. I cannot recommend a better first-class studio any more than Rod's. Contact him for studio time, and he will hook you up. Thank you guys for welcoming me this
Rod
week.
does it all too. Rod will do the videos, the highlight tapes, and he'll
Absolutely.
And if anything that has a sound, a button, electric, anything that Mac has no clue how to work, Rod can do it.
I got to tell y'all this. I'm sorry. I know we're ending the show. Earlier this morning, I woke up and I went to New York, and I'm at B&H. Right? If you guys don't know what B&H is and you like cameras and microphones and lighting, it's the store of all store. Mm-hmm. It's like A.F. Schwartz. Remember the movie?
Yeah, the toy store.
It's like that. I'm in there touching stuff. People asking me if I need...
For electronics.
Electronics,
okay.
Right. So they're asking me if I need help with anything. No, don't need help because I like to just figure out what I want. So the one guy comes in and... I'm looking at this one lens, and this is the moment that I knew I need to make way more money than I make.
This was the moment, Rob?
This was the moment. Listen, the camera was $44,000.
Dollars?
Yes, and the lens was $32,000. And my mouth dropped. It was,
$77,000 all in?
All in.
Was it pesos? Were you in the Mexican part of New York?
I was like, man, I was just, I was dumbfounded.
That's that better take a pretty good picture.
But this is what they use for, movies and things like that.
Yeah.
And, hopefully one day, maybe.
Absolutely.
You're like a kid in a candy store for that, right?
Oh, man, I was so happy up there.
You know what the kid in the candy store for me is?
What's yours?
The actual candy store.
Yeah.
Skittles.
Yeah.
Little Reese Pieces.
Yeah.
Peanut M&Ms.
Yeah. So I FaceTimed my wife. I showed her. I said, "What do you think?"
What do you think?
But yeah.
You think? You want an addition to the house?
Yeah.
You want another bedroom, bathroom, 400 square feet put on the back, or do you want a camera?
Yeah. She told me I had to hurry up and get home.
Yeah, right? And don't drive in the toll lane.
Well, that pretty much wraps up our show, as I was saying. Thank you all for welcoming me this week to fill in for Mark. I'm here with Coach Mac, with Rod. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, never know. Trib might not be back.
Don't jinx us now.